Welcome back to Joe's Stunner Boxing. There can't be many more frustrating things in boxing than someone who's got a lot of talent and doesn't maximise it. And step forth Gervonta Davis, who today, was it, or yesterday, said that he's thinking of retiring soon. He's 30 at the moment. He's also got 30 wins with 28 KOs, no draws, no defeats. Brimming with apparent natural ability. But he says, no, 2025 is going to be my last year. I'm going to walk off into the sunset and do some, some extracurricular stuff. He talks about owning properties and all that sort of thing, which, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But it is frustrating if you're a fan, because this guy Davis is now 30 years old. And when I heard that, I read it, I thought, 30? Because in my head, I still think of him as being someone who's up and coming. Do you know what I mean? He's not. He's fought sort of B-, B-level fighters, but he's almost a personification of what goes on with PBC. Which is that they maximise the amount of money that they make for the absolute minimal risk. It's never, ever crossing the mind of someone like Tank Davis and those around him to give the public what they want. It's always, we're the face of boxing, we do what we want, when we want it, and we don't care what the public thinks, but we're the face of boxing. Well, no, of course he's not the face of boxing, far from it. But he is a talented guy who has, for the most part, despite winning belts at a couple of weights, and also one at 140, which was absolutely meaningless, because at the time, Josh Taylor held all the belts, and there's Davis walking around saying he's a 140 champ. No, you weren't. You never were. But you won belts at, super feather and lightweight. No problem with that. But who have you beaten? I mean, okay, you took on Frank Martin last time. Frank Martin was undefeated, 18-0. Good performance. Martin gave him some problems early on. Very elusive, very intelligent, right tactics, but Tank caught up with him. Good performance by Tank, no doubt about it. Next up in March next year, he's got Lamont Roach. Roach was defeated. His only defeat, actually, was in 2019 against Jamel Herring 5 years ago. He's got a draw on his record as well. I think that was against Pitbull Cruz, wasn't it? And that was before the Herring fight, I think. Yeah, it must have been a year or two before the Jamel Herring fight. And okay, he's on a little run since he lost to Herring. He's had about 6 fights where he's, 6-fight winning streak. But he's only got 10 KOs in 25 wins. 1 points defeat, 1 draw. Is he going to pose Tank any problems? He's 29 now, so as good as he's going to get is Lamont Roach. I don't see him beating Tank. By the way, that's on pay-per-view. Can you believe it? Just like the Martin fight was. I mean, what the... God, these mugs buy it. Now, you also consider that Tank beat Ryan Garcia. He drained him weight-wise. Garcia rather stupidly took the fight. Got knocked out with a body punch, which isn't surprising if he was absolutely depleted weight-wise. And he's beaten people like Rolly Romero when he was undefeated. He beat Hector Luis Garcia. Garcia at the time was undefeated in 16. But weirdly enough, his last fight was another loss to Lamont Roach, of all people. So there we are. Leo Santa Cruz was way, way too small for Tank. Picturesque knockout. A lot of Tank's victories are very picturesque knockouts. Pitbull Cruz, he sort of won a close one over him. That's not a bad result. But unifications, going after the best. No, we haven't seen it, have we? We haven't seen it. And Davis is now 30 and he's talking about retirement. Now, let's do what we always like to do on this channel, which is play devil's advocate, and that is that this is called prize fighting. So why shouldn't Gervonta Davis or any other fighter go after maximum amount of money for minimal amount of damage? They are, after all, prize fighters, modern-day gladiators, clues in the title, prize fighting. They are risking their health. It isn't just the fights, it's the training camps. It's also the effect that it has on the body, boxing, all combat sports actually, 20 years down the line, 30 years down the line, CTE and all the rest of it. So why shouldn't any professional combat sportsman or woman try to maximize their earnings for minimal risk? Well, the short answer is that you can't hold that against them. But at the same time, the flip side of that is, if you're a fighter who does that, you can't then talk about legacy. You can't then pretend that you faced the best. You can't pretend that your legacy was just as important to you as your bank balance. You can't pretend that you are, a truly great fighter who belongs in the Hall of Fame if you haven't faced the very best. And Davis, unfortunately, has not faced the best. He's faced some decent fighters, which we mentioned, but I wouldn't say he'd maximised his talent, not by a long shot. And by the way, I'm not talking about moving up and up and up in weight, like when they talk about Noya Inoue, who is scared of no one and has fought or will fight anyone. People are saying, well, what's he going to be like at featherweight? What about super featherweight? How about we push him into lightweight territory? It's nonsense, At some point you reach your ceiling and therefore your tipping point. With Davis, no. I mean, he could have fought Lomachenko. At one point he could have fought Haney. He could have fought, Kambosos was around at lightweight, Teofimo Lopez, even when he gets got someone like Ryan Garcia in the ring, he wants a rehydration clause. You cannot do all these things and not call out these people and not openly pursue these people and force the issue. If you're not forcing the issue, then no one's going to take you seriously. When you talk about legacy, when you talk about being the face of boxing, it's complete nonsense. So, yeah, he's made money, and I don't begrudge any fighter money. Don't begrudge him at all. You get paid millions, fine. If people want to buy pay-per-views that are crap, let them get on with it. Don't include me in that. I wouldn't do it, but these guys risk their health, so yeah, do your thing, you know what I mean? But don't pretend you're something you're not. Don't pretend that you're an absolute killer who is going to take anyone on when you quite clearly won't. So those are my thoughts on Gervonta Davis. I don't know whether you feel the same. Leave your comments below because I want to hear your opinions as well. And yes, thank you very much, as always, for watching the video. And please subscribe to the channel if you're new and hit the like button as well, because, you help the channel out a great deal. But I do like reading your comments. So leave your opinions below. And, I'm looking forward to reading them, and I'll answer as many as I can. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as always, thanks a lot. Take care of yourselves, and bye for now.